Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's league prediction time, baby. And we're starting with League One, the best one. I'm going to do all 4 leagues. I'm just going to release them in a random order. We started with League One because Reds are in it and I wanted to get it out of the way. And they are separated into categories, as you can see. But if they're on the right-hand side, that's the latter number. So if I put the first team on here and it's set, say if it is Barnsley and then Birmingham go there, for example, then Barnsley finish 24th and Birmingham finish 23rd. I hope that doesn't happen. But without further ado, let's get in there. Crawley 24th. I love an underdog as much as the next guy. But their transfer strategy here is honestly the worst I've ever seen. Seriously. Other teams get promoted and strengthen the squad. Crawley have got promoted and they've scrapped their own club for parts. They've sold all the best players. I just cannot believe what I'm seeing. Seriously, it's either want to get relegated. Keeper's gone to Stockport. The centreman's gone to Bolton. The striker's gone to Burton. Liam Kelly's gone back to League 2 to MK Dons. What are they doing? Like, what a complete waste of time that was. They should have just let somebody else go. That was genuinely pointless. But yeah, there's no world I can see him even finishing 23rd. What a mess. I feel sorry for the fans. But yeah, that's out of the way nice and early. That were one of the 2 easiest positions to decide. Crawley being last. No prizes for guessing who other team is. Going down with Crawley in 23rd, I've got Cambridge. I just think they're bad. Yeah, there's nothing else I can say. I just think they're really, really bad. Cambridge, Shrewsbury and Burton last season were 3 that stayed up just above relegation. They were 20th to 19th. But they were significantly worse than Reading and Charlton, who finished above them. And plus, obviously, teams coming up from League 2, like Mansfield, Stockport and Wrexham are all decent size. They're all going to be better than a lot of the teams that's gone down. So it's going to be a slog. And Cambridge haven't really improved that much. Like, Lavery coming in from Blackpool is a decent signing. But Gary Gardner needs a walker. He's an old man. At his ripe old age and the position that he's playing, he's not gonna play every game. He's probably not even gonna start every game. And if that's one of your big coups on one of the biggest wages, then honestly, no, I'm sorry. I just cannot see Cambridge surviving. And again, I don't think it's even down to Cambridge being significantly worse because they've not lost really a lot of the good players. But other teams have strengthened and Cambridge haven't. And that is enough to get you sucked into a relegation battle or to be relegated. And same goes for third bottom. 22nd, I've got Shrewsbury. Another one that's been in League One for a while now, but they've got same points as Cambridge, but they conceded more and they lost more games. They've lost some good players and all. Dunkley's gone to Chesterfield. Sarah's gone to Burton. Both centre-halves have gone on frees. That Udo, the starting striker, he's gone to Wickham. Bayless gone to Lincoln. They've lost a lot of the best players. And again, it's the teams coming up. It's all right last season, narrowly surviving, when them and Burton were like the 3 teams that just got out of it. But 3 of the 4 teams coming up are better than half these teams anyway. They're better than the 4 that went down, definitely, and the majority of these teams that were in relegation scrap last year. The standard at the bottom, although it's still honking, is a lot better this time than it was last. So I've got Shrewsbury to go down as well. And then the 4th and final relegation spot were tough. I've been chopping and changing between like 3 or 4 teams for the past like week when I've been deciding like what my league predictions are going to be. But I have settled on Stevenage, which might seem crazy on surface of things because they're in playoffs for majority of last season. They didn't finish in there eventually. Steve Evans had them playing some really good stuff, but it's just, I'm sorry, just no. You know what I mean? No. They got 2 wins in the last 12 games in League One at the end of last season, and 1 were against the worst Barnsley team of all time. I was there. It was shocking. So that one don't count. I just really cannot see them scoring enough goals. And again, this really is just a stabbing dart because the quality between bottom 10 is quite similar anyway in terms that it's all crap. So it's difficult to place some of these because they're all so similar. But they've got Ravelin as manager. Who he used to play at Rotherham. If you can remember that screamer he scored from like halfway line at playoff final when Steve Evans was gaffer. And he has managed Stevenage and Stevenage. And that is it. And even though Steve Evans is made out of Play-Doh, he is a decent gaffer and he got most out of what is a very average squad. Can this Ravel bloke do that? Generally, I don't think he can. At minute, I think they'll be one that bites dust out at teams that are going to be straggling around this. With my 2 teams that are narrowly escaping, I think these will be the 2 that finish just above. Northampton to be just outside, and where are they? Exeter. It'd be my 2 that I think will just stay up. And Northampton have brought a couple of decent lads in and all, you know. Cameron McGinn from Colchester, he used to be at Barnsley. He's a decent player, and I liked him. Shit haircut. Tom Ease as well. They've still got Hoskins, but they have lost some decent players as well. Like Sean McWilliams is all right. He's been there since he was in nappies, and he's gone to Rotherham. It's quite like for like outs and ins transfer wise. They're probably slightly stronger this season than they were last, but I don't think they'll hit the same points tally last season at 60. I can see these 2, Northampton, Exeter, and Stevenage all being sat on like 50, low 50s. I think whoever gets relegated fourth bottom to go down here is going to have a decent point tally, and they'll probably be an half-decent team. But it's just the standard of the league this time, where before you've had a couple of teams that you know are just dead certs to go down anyway. But this time, it's like, apart from Crawley, you've got some teams that have been in this league for quite a while that I think are going to be struggling. Like Exeter, same again. They've lost Jack Jules. He's gone to Rotherham. Aimson to Wigan. Tom Carroll to MK Dons. They've got Ryan Woods in from Hull, though, centre mid, who is very, very good. And they've not sold any of their actual best players yet, realistically. But the reason that I've got them staying up, really, because the squad really is not that good. At home, they're all right. It's not an easy place to go, even though we went there one last season with worst battle team ever. But on last day transfer window, you just know that Exeter are going to snag some ridiculous loan. They're going to pick somebody up that nobody's ever heard of in their life from Forest, and he's going to turn out to be best player in the league after about 2 months. They're going to do something like that, and he'll score 40 goals. So I think they'll survive based on just Exeter vibes and the culture of what they'll end up doing. But yeah, I've got Exeter and Northampton to narrowly stay up, followed by lads that I think will be just outside of this relegation pit down here. I've got Mansfield, Leyton Orient, and Burton. So far, I'm going to put another 2 in there in a minute, but I'm just going to talk about these 3 for now. Last season, Mansfield scored second most in league, only behind Stockport, who hit high 90s and won league, and they conceded least. They will be very, very hard to beat, as you would expect with Clough as gaffer. They're not going to be an easy side to go and beat, especially away at their place. They're going to be very hard to break down, and I think that is instantly enough, especially if they keep the best player, that Duff or Dunn, whatever his name is, him that's got about 40 goals that Barnsley are looking at. If they keep him, they're definitely staying up. But I feel like even if they do lose the best players, Clough is a great manager. Clough is a better manager than anybody down here, so I think that alone can drag you up some positions into safety. Leyton Orient speaks for itself, to be honest. That El Mazzuni was the best player last season on loan from Ipswich. He's at Oxford now. They're going to drop a couple of places, but I feel like that's to be expected, to be quite honest with you. And then Burton, Christ alive, these have not been messing about. They're a full new squad. They spent some rate money. There's been 16 new signings I'm looking at here, and 17 have left so far. So it is literally at least half of a new squad, which can go one or two ways, kind of, because you look at someone like Burnley even. You look at someone like Burnley who did that in Premier League last season, tried rebuilding a full new squad, and they just came down with a whimper. But it can pay off as well. I just think they'll sit in middle around here. And 16th, where I've got Burton here, I think that's a successful season, even with signings that they've made, because they are one of the smallest teams. You're going up against some big sides. Even around here, you've got some decent teams that are getting a lot of numbers in, like Exeter's and Leyton Orient. But yeah, it's all right. Then to finish off this set of lads here in boring mid-tablers, I've got Reading in 15th and Wickham in 14th. I don't like doing that to Wickham because they could have a really good season. I feel a bit harsh on them. But Reading first. Reading haven't really done out yet. But after that shit show that was last season and the points deduction and just in general the stabilisation at club, last season were good. That they didn't go down. And I feel like this is good as well. It's just building blocks to eventually get your club back. I feel like they take that, to be quite honest with you. They're not going to be up around here anyway, so anything in this category anyway is pointless. As long as Reading stay up again this time, I think they'll be happy. And for Wickham, it probably is a little bit harsh. I think they finished 10th last season. They finished season quite well. But I don't know. I feel like there's just something missing with them, and I can't put a finger on it. Even though the signings are quite good. Like I said, that Udo from Shrewsbury's number 9, starting player, has gone to Wickham. They've got Bakinson in from Chef Wednesday, so they've made decent signings. They've not really lost anybody. And it's not an easy place to go down there and win either. I've been twice. It's not an easy place to go and win. But I don't know. I just cannot see them making that push yet, and I don't know what it is. Obviously, like I said, there's a long time to go in this transfer window. There's ages to go. They could go and sign 3-4 players that maybe completely change their mind and put them in playoffs. So anything could happen still. But just on where these teams are now, I think that's a fair assessment on Wickham at the minute. I just don't think that they're at the level that the teams that are going to be above them, which are Stockport, Bristol Rovers, Wrexham, get in there, and Lincoln in 10th. They're my 4 lads that I think they're going to be your upper mid-tablers. They're going to be sneaking into top half, couple of these. But I don't think they'll be in with the top 9 that are going to have a serious push for playoffs. Stockport, another one that speaks for it, sending it the one League 2. So you'd expect a side that's good enough to batter everybody else in League below to have a half-decent season in League 1, and I think that's what they'll do. 13th, you could argue either ways, couldn't you? I think a lot of Stockport fans will be in comment like, playoffs. But I think it's a good season still. They won 27 games last season and scored 96 goals. They had a 48 goal difference. Callum is a very, very good gaffer. They've definitely strengthened the squad. I'm just looking at it on my monitor here. But the step up with the best teams in this league is big. You're not playing like absolute poxy-ass teams every week. I mean, most of teams on here are, but when you look at the 9 at bottom, you're going to be playing one of these every other week, and they're hard fixtures, man. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that Stockport will be a championship team in a couple of years, but I just don't think they're there yet. If they keep the recruitment up that they've been doing this season, because they've been signing a lot of young ones, bring them in. They like playing the youth anyway, Stockport. Bring them in, develop them, sell them, keep your manager, keep that style of play going. Eventually, you'll be there in the next couple. But I just do not think that is yet. For now, 13th is a very solid foundation to build on, and a realistic one at that, I think. Sneaking into top half, we've got these little devils in Bristol Rovers. It's an improvement on last season in the position because of what is probably a slight improvement in squad. It's not like a massive difference, but they've probably leveled up slightly. That promised striker from Fleetwood, who was apparently elite at everything but finishing, which is, you know, as a striker, you'd want him to be able to hit a barn door, wouldn't you, really? But apparently he's good at everything but that. But the potential's there. Hutchinson from Walsall as well. They've got Clinton Moller from Reading. Decent signings to what is a decent squad, realistically, in Bristol Rovers. They have lost Anthony Evans to Huddersfield, though, who is one of, if not the best player, which is obviously a big hit. But overall, I think the incomings have made up for it and slightly teetered them to have an improvement on last season. And top half reflects that. Oh, get back in there, little devil. You're not in there yet. Wrexham, I've just done a full video explaining in detail why I think that Wrexham will finish in this sort of zone. So go and watch that after this one. Make sure you watch all this one. I need my audience attention. I've got bills to pay. But yeah, I just don't think that the recruitment's up to standard, really, to compete in bigger leagues when you get into them. And also the forward line's shit, to be quite honest with you. So that's why I think they'll be there, in short. But again, like Bristol Rovers, like Stockport, 11th is a good season for Wrexham for the size they are and the facilities that they've got at a minute compared to teams above them. As much as the hype is around Wrexham, they're not there yet. They're just not there. And neither Lincoln, I don't think. They've lost Sorensen to Huddersfield, which obviously is a very good player and he's one that they actually owned. And then one of the other two best players from last season, Taylor, who were on loan from Luton. Very, very good forward him. Serious striker. I would not mind him at Barnsley one bit. He's a very good player. So from outside looking in, obviously Lincoln fans might have a different view on this, but I think they've lost the best two players from last season. So I don't think they'll be 7th or 2 points off playoffs like they were last season. But very, very hard to beat at home again. It's a loud place, Lincoln. They have got the best home atmosphere in this league, probably, even with Birmingham coming down. They've probably got the best in this league, which is crazy. But yeah, it's same again. If you're half decent at home and you're scoring a lot of goals at home, that is enough to have you in this like yellow mustardy category or higher instantly. Because so many teams concede so many goals at home. They're just whipping boys at home 24/7. If you're good at home, you protect your own house a little bit. You can fly up them positions so easily. But I do not think that there will be top 9 pushing for a playoff place. Speaking of, we have got our top 9. Barnsley, Birmingham, Blackpool, Bolton, Charlton, Huddersfield, Peterborough, Rotherham and Wigan. We have got our 9. We've got some serious fellas here. They're either going to be in playoffs or putting up a proper fight for it. And 9th, and just missing out. Who's it going to be? Peterborough. It's Peterborough. Peterborough in 9th. Ronnie Edwards, gone. Josh Knight, gone. Harrison Burrows is going to leave. That's 3 at back 4, already gone. 3 of the best players, already gone. Mason Clark went halfway through last season officially and then came back on loan. He's gone. That's 4 of your best 5 players gone already. Clark Harris is gone. He didn't play as much last season, but it's a lot of experience. Somebody who knows club quite well. Someone who's got a certain profile as a striker that you can bring off bench or play in certain games. Like they're playing in both games against us because we had a weak as piss shit back three. So he's just throwing elbows around, big lumps, scoring loads of goals for fun. You ain't got that option now as a different type of striker that you can play in certain games. But they are doing a classic Peterborough. I'm looking at it on my screen recruitment-wise, like that left-back from Crewe, Hayes from Fleetwood, some guy called Chris Conclark from Altrincham for reported 400 grand. That is the most Peterborough signing I've ever seen in my life. Some young lad from non-league that nobody's ever heard of that Peterborough are going to turn into a world beater worth 10 million quid in 3 months. That is just so very Peterborough. But, potential aside, we're talking about right now, the squad is nowhere near as good as last season. It's a massive, massive downgrade on a team that could only finish in playoffs as well. I do not rate Ferguson manager. I'm going to be so honest right now. I think he's a shit gaffer because that team should have got promoted last year with ease. And they've lost a lot of the best players, if not all the best players. It's going to be a big rebuild. I do think that there will be after playoffs, but it's too much of a struggle. It's too much of an ask for him to get into playoffs and top 6 this year. Nowhere. Same goes for Blackpool, who I think will finish at 8th again. They've signed Jordan Rhodes on a perm, which is a very good deal. He's going to get you goals. They've signed Ashley Fletcher on a perm from Watford, who were on loan at Wednesday. Were on loan at Wednesday last season. If they'd have signed both these lads 8 years ago, they'd have been on the way to Prem. But they're signing names over quality and ability. However, Lee Evans from Portsmouth is a very, very good signing if they can keep him fit. That is a solid signing. But again, you've got to look at your outgoings, haven't you? Karamoko Dembele on loan, absolute shit hot. He was unbelievable. He's a serious, serious player. One that if he's not in Championship, at least, or one of other like top European leagues somewhere, I'll be surprised because he's very, very good. He's not going to be coming back. That centre half, Marvin Ekitipichiki. I can't say his name. I'm going to get cancelled for saying that, even though I'm just like speaking Sims language. But yeah, fucking Ray Unity. He is a serious, serious player, and he's gone on a free as well. So the squad dynamic has changed, and they're much weaker in certain positions than they are other ones. And again, I don't know. I just think there's too many teams in front of them that have just got much better squads and definitely better managers. So I just can't see Blackpool being in top 6 again. I feel like they'll be fighting for it, and they'll probably fall short. They'll be all right, but no, I'm just making excuses for them. I just cannot see it. I'm sorry, I cannot see it. And then the final team to miss out on playoffs is Charlton. It's Charlton. I think Charlton will finish 7th. I'm not bothered what anybody says about Nathan Jones not wanting Alfie May. Charlton have had the golden ticket. They've got a winning lottery ticket in their hand at getting out of League One, getting out of this pit of a league. And they've sold it for 900 grand to another promotion rival. You mugs. You've got to replace 23 goals. Like, good luck to you. Matty Godden in is a good signing, and that Adamay for about £1 million or something from Ipswich. I think he were on loan at Cambridge last season, if memory serves, or Burton. He played for somebody in yellow. I know he did. I had to throw some money about Charlton, but I just don't think that them signings are going to replace the amount of goals that you've got for a team that finished 16th. I just do not think it's enough. Luke Berry and Doherty in, very, very good midfielders, 2 very good signings for this level. And that's why I've sent them up 9 league positions, because last season they finished 16th. Like, let's not forget how bad Charlton actually were, with or without Nathan Jones. Yeah, Jones came in and effectively saved them because they looked even worse somehow. But when he's come in, out of the last 15 games, they've only lost 1 game. Which on surface is like, wow, we should be in top 6. But they've also only won 4. Like, regardless of which form category you go on for the last 5, 10, 15, 25 games, Charlton are not in the top 6 of any of them. You cannot draw every other game that you play, more than every other game that you play, and expect to be in top 6. You've got absolutely no chance. Being out to beat is one thing. Winning games is a completely different ballpark altogether, and Charlton are not in that ballpark yet. And that is why I've got them just outside. Which means my top 6 are Barnsley, Birmingham, Bolton, Huddersfield, Rotherham and Wigan. All be playoffs at least. It's just where do we put each team. The first side that I think will finish in playoffs and not be top 2 is Rotherham. The second one is Huddersfield. The third one is Wigan. And I'll come to the fourth one in a minute. Let me just rearrange this. I've got Rotherham in 6th, Wigan 5th, and Huddersfield 3rd. They are 3 of my 4 playoff teams at the minute. Rotherham have got a full new team and definitely a full manager. They've got meatballing in Steve Evans, which is a big improvement on last manager they had. And it's a good job that they've changed the squad as well, because my God, that they're so bad. Last season were embarrassing. I felt sick when I had to watch Rotherham play sometimes on Sky. It was so bad. Like, if they didn't have Johansson in net, who's now gone to Stoke, Jesus did in fact weep, because they would have conceded 150 goals. Honestly, he saved them so many times and they still conceded that many. That's how bad they are. So terrible. Even if they were in League One, they'd have finished in bottom 8 with that squad last year. But some of the signings that they have made are good, especially defensively, which is crazy. After what I've just said, I'm glad they've prioritised the defence from a Rotherham point of view, because if they just went gung-ho other end and kept with that same defence or similar defenders, they'd have been going straight back down again. Cameron Dawson in from Wednesday, keeper, very good signing. Rafferty and Raggett both from Pompey, very, very, very good signings. They're going to be strong defensively. But going forward now, I think they could struggle. Last season, I feel like the amount of goals that they scored weren't highlighted enough just because they've got a leaky bumhole in defence. They only scored 37 goals. That's so bad. And Steve Evans at Stevenage, for a team that finished 9th, he only had them scoring 57. So it's not exactly like his football's going to be exciting to watch loads of goals. You're not like a Peterborough that's going to be creating 70 XG. I think they will probably hit about 65 or 70, but it won't be enough to push into the top 2. But again, similar to, you've just got to take context into account, aren't you? Not every team can just win league. Do you know what I mean? Only one team can go up. And which state that Rotherham have come down in, 6th, I think, is a very, very generous position and one that they should be happy with. Because, if they'd have come down in any other sort of mess, they'd have been probably down here somewhere. Next up, we've got Wigan in 5th. They finished 12th last year, but I'm telling you now, it's one of them ones. something crazy is going to happen with Wigan. I'm telling you, they're either going to go down or they're going to go up, and there's going to be no in between. They just do not function as a 12th place team. It would not surprise me in the slightest if we are here this time next year, if we're having this chat again, and we're going to make championship. It would not, honestly, it would not surprise me one bit. It'd be so very Wigan to just be like, guys, we're 12th in League One. We're just a little innocent little mid-table League One time. No threat over here. Win league. Just get 100 points. They'll be on 80 in March. They'll take the piss. And when I look at the signings, I'm not even impressed. I am not even impressed. These are not even good signings. Calvin Ramsey on loan and Olakibe from Brentford. Great. You know what I mean? How's that going to take you from 12th up here? But they've kept Hughes for now. For now, they've got Hughes and they've got Tickle still. Two very, very good players. Two of the best, and they've got them on new contracts. So that sets tone straight away. And, you know, I've just seen this story before. I know exactly what Wigan can spring on you from nowhere. I'm saying 5th, but again, I would not be surprised in the slightest if these are just promoted easily. Realistically, Huddersfield, I shouldn't have put them in there yet because they are one of 4 big dogs, I think. Barnsley and Bolton are just like cursed to be bound together forever. We've just been in playoffs for the last 2 years, just not good enough to properly take that next step and get promoted. And then the 2 that have come down in Birmingham and Huddersfield, they are your 4 serious sides this year, I think. Completely unbiased, definitely. And I feel like the top 3 were difficult, but to me, I don't think Huddersfield is because of some of the main problems that they've just not addressed. Like they've sold Rodoni to Coventry for a lot of money, a very good sale. But they have brought in 2.5 good players to replace him. We've spoken about 2 of them already. You've got Evans from Bristol Rovers and Sorensen from Lincoln. But they've also got Herbie Kane, Huddersfield have, on a free from time. And I said that it's 2.5 serious players, but it should be 4 because Herbie Kane should count as 2 players, the big, fat, lazy bastard. Technically, he is brilliant, Herbie Kane. But he's built like a raspberry. He's got custard running through his veins. I could not take him seriously when he weighs 16 stone and he's 5'6". Duff as a gaffer as well is a very good manager. They're a dead cert for top 6 Huddersfield are, but they got relegated for a reason, do you know what I mean? And they've not addressed either of the main problems, which is that they're horrific in both boxes. They don't score enough and they concede too many. Like, it's honestly as simple as that. You don't need to go further than that most of the time with analysis, do you? The shit in both boxes. And all they've done instead, they've brought no forwards in. They've packed out midfield. You could have just stuck Rhodes up front, to be honest. So the starting 11 from last season, a squad that got relegated, is worse. Their 11 is worse. The squad's definitely better. It's more packed out, but their 11 is worse. And Hillick still might leave. Again, there's a lot of time to go still in this transfer window, and they've done some half-decent signings in midfield. But they need at least a forward and another centre-back and a keeper, probably, because I do not think that squad is good enough to be challenging top 2 properly. To be challenging these 3. I think these 3 are all going to have better squads by the time it's there. Now, for the main event. Where are them Reds? Who is got... Let's just... Hold on, let's just pause this right now. Let's just stop this whole thing right now. Birmingham are winning league. Okay, Birmingham are winning league, so we'll just put them there. Back to main event. Who is going up with Birmingham automatically? Is it Barnsley or is it Bolton? Bound together forever, but somebody's got to go up. Eventually. And I think it will be Barnsley. I will put Barnsley in second and I will put Bolton third and no one can stop me. Bolton, they haven't really done anything yet. Like if you look at the transfers and the squad, they've done nothing. The best player from last season, Paris Magoma, were on loan from Brentford. He's gone. He never had multiple attempts at getting out of this league with biggest budget, effectively, apart from like a couple row ones like a Derby or something. Bolton have had a big budget and big wages and some big names and big players. And they've failed to get promoted every time. So, you know what I mean? At what point do you cut your ties with Everett? But at the same time, I'd have took him at Barnsley, so what can I say? In the last 2 seasons, Everett has gone with Bolton to losing to Barnsley in playoff semis, to then last season, beating Barnsley in playoff semis, and then losing to Oxford in playoff final. I think this time, they will go one further. I'm sorry, I've got Bolton in 6th. Let me just put Bolton up there. Sorry, everybody, for that confusion right there. I think Bolton will go one further this time, and I think they'll get promoted at Wembley. Because, again, if Barnsley going up, or if Bolton were up here, then the other one, vice versa, has to go up with them. We are joined at the hip. We cannot leave each other's side. If one of us is going, we're both going. And as for Reds, my reasoning for us being top 2 in automatics is that we finally got rid of Devante. Yes! We've already talked about big slab of meat that's gone to Huddersfield. Jordan Williams going to Portsmouth has upset me a little bit because I quite like Jordan Williams. I think he's a good right wing back. I will miss him. He's a good player. But all the rest of them, thank God I never have to watch any of them pretend to be footballers ever again with a Barnsley top on. thank God, some of the worst footballers I've literally ever seen us have, ever, and they've gone. We've still got his best two players in Connell and Phillips. We've finally brought the experience in that we've needed for ages because we've had a recruitment strategy assigning children from non-league. We've brought in Conor Urian and Mark Roberts. Both got experience of Championship. Urian's got experience in Premier League, a lot of it as well. Got multiple promotions with different teams. They both know the club inside and out. It's the two perfect signings for what we need experience-wise. However, we do still need a left-back, a centre-mid and a striker, at least. And if we go down the route of signing children, signing scaffolders from Rose and Crown in non-league, then I will be sticking Barnsley down here, and I will laugh when we get relegated because this board deserve to lose all money at World if they go down that route again. But until that day comes, I will be convinced that we're going to sign some quality players with the money that we've got from selling £10 million worth of players last year and spending £7. So we are going up. We're going to get 100 points. We're going to get 100 goals. That's not gone either, but we're going to have to settle behind Birmingham. We might score 110 and get 112 points. But I'll take it. As long as we get out of here, I'll take it. But they're my predictions for League One. So thank you all for watching. As always, make sure you sub because I'm going to obviously do it for all other leagues. Thank you again for watching. Love you all, and I'll see you in a bit. That's all I've got to say. Goodbye.